Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High bless this lesson this evening. Gives our knowledge and understanding of the events of the past in order to understand the events that are currently happening on the earth. So we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Family, we're going to be getting into some serious, what people would say would be some conspiracy theories. We're going to be talking about Admiral Bird and his his diary, his secret diary that he left, that he was not, and information that he was not allowed to share when he went inside the hollow earth and he met with the beings that were there in the hollow earth. Now, you have to have an understanding of the truth and really be able to understand things to be able to listen to his diary and his entries here, certain parts of it, and get a true understanding. You're going to see that what he was told by these beings in the inner earth is exactly what's playing out right now. And that, according to his diaries, his secret diaries, that the government was well aware of what was going to happen in the future and did not allow Admiral Bird to bring this information out. Now, he wrote down a lot of these things, and then, as it seemed as if, when he was getting ready to die or whatever else was when, it's like, hey, I got to let this information out. And we've got the other story that I read a long time ago also, that was talking about the people that were under the earth and how the guy who went and stayed with him for a while knew that eventually these people that were in the inner earth were going to come up and wreck shop here on the surface. And I listened to Aquaman, and you can just tell the thing that they say. It talks about the people on the surface are eventually going to kill, destroy themselves, and that's the reason why. But the people in Atlantis couldn't wait because it says they're going to destroy themselves, or they're going to destroy us as well because of the the way they're not taking care of the earth. Now you're going to see some information that was in Admiral Bird's books right here in his diary, and like I said, hey, prove it wrong. See, that's what they've done this whole time. Any information that they didn't want people to talk about or to acknowledge, they just called you a conspiracy theorist. They try to make it seem as if you were crazy, as if you're just making things up. But see, now you understand that they've been the ones that have been making everything up. They haven't proven absolutely anything. And like I said, we're at the end. That's why every single day you're seeing more and more devastation worldwide. And they're still, even to the end, trying to make it seem as if they're still in control. They're still supposedly in control of the weather. They're still in control of the financial markets, and they're in control of the reset that's going to come, and they're going to be in control when they reset everything, and they're going to be in control of the new world order, and they're in control of everything, and they're never going to they're just going to just hit a reset button, and they're going to be in control again. But see, the beings that were underneath the earth told us what was going to happen here at the end. And that's what you're going to be getting into this evening. This is the book right here, A Flight to the Land Beyond the North Pole, The Missing Diary of Admiral Richard E. Bird. And what's crazy right now is you're starting to see all these Gentiles who are, admitting all these things that America has done, and the hypocrisy of the things that America is doing. But it's like, but you guys are not going back far enough. You're going back 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. Mostly to around 9/11 is talking about those kinds of things. But look, you guys have broken every treaty you've ever made. You've lied about absolutely everything. You've stolen the land here. You've stolen, people. You've stolen identities. There's been absolutely nothing positive that you've done. And now you're going to get some more clarification. It was going to show you why, the events that are going on right now, why they are happening right now. Like I said, the ultimate conspiracy theory. I used to love X Files. I used to be like one of my favorite shows. I used to go and watch it with my brother-in-law like every Friday. I think they would have a new episode. We would, all get together and watch it because I loved, conspiracy theories and loved that show. And then so we're gonna get into some crazy conspiracy theories that are actually playing out exactly the way they were written in these diaries. We're gonna start here on page 42 of his book. Okay, it says that is of course past history now, my dear Admiral. This is the Admiral Bird here talking to the to the beings down, underneath the earth, underneath the surface. But I must continue on. It says, you see, we have never interfered before in your races, wars, and barbarity, but now we must, for you have learned to tamper with a certain power that is not for man, namely that of atomic energy. Our emissaries have already delivered messages to the powers of your world, and yet they do not heed. And we've heard about that, how they've had, they sent emissaries to talk to the presidents, I'm sure, of America, of Russia, and telling them, things that they cannot do. And, so you kind of think of it like what's going on right now. They keep talking about how, Russia's going to send off these nukes and America's going to send off these nukes and there's going to be a nuclear war. I said there's other entities right now that are definitely in play that are not going to allow them to just destroy the surface and affect the underground as well. They've been warned, even though they're not telling the people that. I says they've been warned. It says now you have been chosen to be witness here that our world does exist. So he's got the opportunity to see the underworld, the world underneath the surface. Okay, it says you see our culture and science is many thousands of years beyond your race, Admiral. I interrupted, but what does this have to do with me, sir? The master's eyes seemed to penetrate deeply into my mind, and after studying me for a few moments, he replied, your race has now reached the point of no return. Now, who's been in charge? You Gentiles have been in charge, and you guys have now reached a point of no return. For there are those among you who would destroy your very world rather than relinquish their power as they know it. And we know that. We know there's plenty of, there's plenty of these Gentiles who are in charge. It's like, if I can't have it, no one can have it. If I can't be in charge, you can't have it. I'm going to destroy it. I'm damn sure not going to give it back to you. And if you look at what's going on right now, it's exactly what it seems that's going on here with all these, train derailments, Fukushima, all these leaks going on left and right, and then they know they can't clean up. And it's like, hey, man, if I can't be in the Americas, if I know I'm about to get kicked off these lands, I'm going to destroy it on my way out. If I can't have these lands or those lands, I'm going to destroy it on my way out. And that's exactly what you're seeing. So again, it says, your race has now reached the point of no return. For there are those among you who would destroy your very world rather than relinquish their power as they know it. Now I said, that's not the Israelites. That's not us, because we haven't had any power. We've been at the bottom. We don't make any decisions. So like I said, so we're not the ones that are going to try to destroy it rather than give it back to someone. So I was not talking about us. says, I nodded, and the master continued. In 1945 and afterward, we tried to contact your race, but our efforts were met with hostility. Our flugellarads were fired upon them. I guess that would be like their UFOs. Yes, even pursued with malice and animosity by your fighter planes. So now I have. So now I say to you, my son, there is a great storm gathering in your world, a black fury that will not spend itself for many years. So now that fury is coming. I said they've been trying to, communicate with the people, communicate with the Gentiles, be reasonable with them, trying to get them to, change direction, but they just won't do it. But that kind of goes back to Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2, when they know that this is their time. This is the only time they're going to get, this is their blessing. So, they're going to use up everything and all the resources for their enjoyment. Okay? So again, there is a great storm gathering, okay, in your world, a black fury that will not spend itself for many years. There will be no answer in your armies. There will be no safety in your science. So see, they put their faith in their armies and their weapons and their science. You don't see them talking about putting their faith in their God. You don't hear about them putting their faith in their religion. They put their faith in their money, right, in their armies and in their science. But those things are going to fail them. The things they put their faith in are going to fail them. And that's exactly what you're seeing going on right now. That's why many people right now are losing faith, because the things that they have, put their faith in is now being shown, to not be, not be as they can't rely on the things that they've been putting their faith in. They're being shown to be nothing. And that's exactly what's going on right now. So far, does it sound like a conspiracy theory, or does this look like this is exactly what's going on right now? It says, it may rage on until every flower of your culture is trampled and all human things are leveled in vast chaos. And that's what's going on right now. You got like a worldwide chaos going on right now. You got Biden trying to give away money. You got the secretary of the banks trying to give away all this money. Yelling, going over and with checks and dropping off checks to Zelensky. Like as if America is just like is just full, has all this extra money. That I said, and they're just everything is being destroyed here in the Americas. But we know that the Most High is going to replenish everything, just like He says in Joel 2. He's going to replenish everything, and He's going to restore everything that that we've lost. So we put our faith in our power. They put their faith in their money, their armies, and their science. But we know to put our faith in the Most High. And as we get closer and closer to our new year, you're seeing more and more death and destruction every single day going on for the Gentiles. So again, it may rage on until every flower of your culture is trampled and all human things are leveled in vast chaos. So, hey, everything that they built could be destroyed. That's where we're headed. And that's exactly what it's looking like going on. And this is crazy because this is exactly what was talked about. This is what was told to Admiral Bird from the entities underground. It says, your recent war was only a prelude of what is yet to come for your race. We here see it more clearly with each hour. Do you say I am mistaken? No, I answer. It happened once before. The Dark Ages came, and they lasted for more than 500 years. And it said, so they know that death and destruction is coming for them. These Gentiles know this, but they've been working to suppress this information so they can continue, the last little bit of their blessing. Yes, my son, replied the master. The dark ages that will come now for your race will cover the earth like a pall. Okay? And that means like a cloth covering a coffin or a dark cloud. Okay? Covering of smoke. That's look up that what that word pall means. Okay? So like a cloth covering a coffin, a dark cloud, or a covering of smoke. Okay? But I believe that some of your race will live through the storm. Beyond that, I cannot say. We see at a great distance a new world. So, see, they see a new world coming at a great distance, a great time away, okay? Stirring from the ruins of your race. So, this new world is coming is going to be built, okay, from the ruins of their race. They're going to have to be destroyed and swept off the lands in order for the new race to rise. He said, so this is a very tough message that was sent to the Gentiles. And now you're seeing why, they didn't want any of the stuff coming out because they didn't want to be, blamed for all the horrible things. They want to blame everybody else, but they don't want to take any responsibility for anything that they've been doing. So again, we see at a great distance a new world, stirring from the ruins of your race, seeking its lost, okay, and legendary treasures. Now, like you think of it, that's all our people seeking its lost and legendary treasures. And the thing is with these treasures, it's not always about gold. You're going to see like later on it's talking about books. It's talking about information also that has been hidden and taken underground, and or waiting for us to be restored. And we'll talk about that soon in a little bit. But that goes back again to all those those videos we've done about when they went into South America, and the Incas ran into the caves and they took a lot of the gold that the Spaniards never got their hands on. I'm sure it happened also in Mexico, in certain parts of Mexico. I'm sure that they went underground and hid a lot of the information as well. The Cancun area, the Yucatan Peninsula. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of places over there where they hid information, where they hid a lot of treasures in the Americas, because these caves are a whole system of caves that are connected worldwide. You don't think that over in the Grand Canyon, that's exactly what happened there. They hid a lot of treasures in the Grand Canyon as well, because once they found those caves, all of a sudden, those caves don't exist. You can't go over here. Those places are off limits. It all starts to come together. They're well aware of all this, of all these caves and all these treasures. So again, seeking its lost and legendary treasures, and they will be here, my son, safe in our keeping. See, they've been keeping all of our information, all of our treasures safe, waiting for us. When that time arrives, we shall come forward again to help revive your culture and your race. And they're going to be reviving, and that's what they're doing right now with our people. They're reviving, the chosen ones. They're reviving the ones that have been, chosen to awaken here at the end. Reviving our culture, awakening us to let us know that hey, these Gentiles don't have, your good, at heart. They're not telling you the truth. They're hiding all this information. That's why you got to become as a baby. That's why you got to, trust the Spirit and information that they're telling you above what these people here are telling us. Perhaps by then you will have learned the futility of war and its strife. And as you can tell, the Gentiles have not learned about the futility of war and its strife. Whenever they have an issue, it's right back to war, because all they have are nails and a hammer. So they got to make every single problem they have has to be solved with a hammer and nails. That's why when it's crazy listening to a lot of the Gentiles, because they're like, our foreign policy is always about you do what we say. We're gonna come together and have a discussion, but ultimately you're gonna do everything that we say. Well, that's what you guys have always done. And if you don't do what we say, we're gonna destroy you. We're gonna kill you. We're gonna take your land. We're gonna take your children. We're gonna take your wife. Well, that's nothing new. That's exactly what you guys have done this whole time. Nothing new. But you all of a sudden, you guys want to forget all that history. So again, and after that time, certain of your culture and science will be returned. Well, let's start from the beginning. Perhaps by then you will have learned the futility of war and its strife. And after that time, certain of your culture and science will be returned for your race to begin anew. And that's going to be our people. Okay? It's going to be returned. That means we had it before. So it's going to be given back to the people who had it before. It says, you, my son, are to return to the surface world with this message. And see, they gave him this message to take to the surface world for them to make changes, for them to, see the error of their ways and make changes. Do you think that's what they did? With these closing words, our meeting seemed at an end. I stood for a moment as in a dream, but yet I knew this was reality. And for some strange reason, I bowed slightly, either out of respect or humility. I do not know which. Now, what happened was when he got back, the government told him, you are not allowed to bring out any of this information. You are a military man and you're going to follow orders. And you're going to do everything that we tell you. So Admiral Bird lived with this information the rest of his life. Wrote down this information in the diary, his secret diaries, and eventually it comes out later on. But now that we have this understanding of, the Most High's people, the star seeds, this information about these people getting their opportunity to rule and reign, it all starts to make. Then you can read his Admiral Bird's book here, and you can get information. You can get understanding now. When you get that universal, thought that you get from these churches, it's very difficult to understand because you think that everybody's the same and we're all equal and we're all in the same boat, but we're not. The Gentiles have been in charge. We have not. We have not made any choices. We have not been able to, hey, no one's asked us our opinion about anything. So why exactly would they be trying to come and destroy us when we've had nothing to do with any of these decisions? You guys made the decision to hide all this information. You made the decision to not let the world see what the entities underneath the surface have been telling you. They've been warning you, but you've chosen not to listen. I want to read a little bit because this goes with, you start thinking about the treasures that are hidden underneath the surface. Now we always, because for the Gentiles, it's never about books and understanding. Those aren't treasures to them. Books and understanding, those aren't treasures to them. It's all about gold and money. Those are the treasures that they're referring to. But as but if you listen to what Admiral Bird was saying and what the entities were telling them, it's like, hey, we got all these, we got this science, we got this information for you. We've been holding it for you, so that when it's your time to rise here at the end, we'll have it for you. So we're going to read a little bit of this right here from Graham Hancock about a quest for knowledge. Okay, talking about Thoth and his books. Okay. According to Clemens Alexandrinus Stromata VI, there are 42 books of Thoth, a number that provides a curious sense of balance with the first truth, the weighing of actions examined by means of the 42 negative confessions. These books of the second truth, the weighing of words, were thought to be divided into 7 categories, covering, amongst other subjects, cosmography and geography, the construction of temples, the history of the world, the worship of the gods, medical matters, the hidden meaning of hieroglyphics, and treatises on astrology and astronomy, including the ordering of the fixed stars, the positions of the sun, moon, and planets, the conjunctions and phases of the sun and the moon, and the times when stars rise. The tradition of the books of Thoth persisted well into the Christian era, associated with Greco-Egyptian temples such as Deir el-Medina, Dandara, Edfu, and the Temple of Isis at Philae. where the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics continued to be used and understood until as late as the 4th century AD. It is therefore hardly surprising that Clemens, AD 115 and 215, should have been aware of this tradition, which was indeed set down afresh and writing in his adopted city of Alexandria. At about this time, these writings, the so-called Corpus Harmonicum, repeatedly describe Thoth, the Hermes Trismegistus of the Greeks, as he who won knowledge of all. Okay? He saw all things, and seeing, understood, and understanding had the power both to disclose and to give explanation. For what he knew, he graved on stone. Yet though he graved them onto stone, he hid them mostly, keeping sure silence, so that every younger age of cosmic time might seek for them. A quest that appears to have been envisaged, okay, for those stone tablets or books of Thoth or Hermes. Indeed, the Corpus Harmonicum leaves us in no doubt about this matter, telling us that the wisdom God used magic to postpone for as long as possible the rediscovery of his treasures of knowledge. Okay? So the stuff is hidden. Ye holy books, which have been anointed with the drug of imperishability, remain ye undecaying through all ages, and be ye unseen and undiscovered by all men, who shall go to and fro on the plains of this land until the time when heaven, grown old, shall beget organisms worthy of you. Walter Scott, the translator of this passage into English, appends the following explanatory note concerning the term organisms, literally composite things, that is, men composed of soul and body. After long ages, there will be born men that are worthy to read the books of Hermes, men who have souls and bodies. As you can see, and this information has been hidden. So when you go back to Admiral Bird and his book there, he's talking about how these guys are underneath told her pretty much, hey, we got all this information, we got all these treasures, and when you guys are ready, you're going to get them back. But you're going to have these people who are going to be born with souls and bodies in order for them to be able to receive them. So as you can see, they always try to use call people conspiracy theorists and things like that. But this information is right there for you to read, right there for you to get understanding, and you still got all these people who are still stuck with 66 books only. When there's all this other information that lets you know that there's way more that's going to be coming out here at the end, and that these are the times that we're in. Now you're getting a chance to kind of see why there's all these events going on worldwide, and that the entities underneath the surface have already warned the Gentiles about them. They decided to hide all this information from the people. They decided to hide all this information from the world, so that now here at the end, they're just totally lost as to why all these things are happening. They're happening because you don't know how to appreciate the world. You don't know how to follow the Most High. You have run your course, and now the Most High is cleaning up your mess, and he is fulfilling the scriptures and the promises that he has made to his people. All praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.